A very good evening to one and all. I welcome you all to this news analysis initiative. These are the articles that are important from today's newspaper. See, the first article for the day is regarding Center tells states to enforce apex court orders on Aravalis. See, this issue is about protecting the Aravalis hills from mining. Recently, there were fears that a new definition of the Aravalli range might allow large scale mining. Because of this concern, the Union Environment Ministry has stepped in. The ministry has clearly told Haryana, Rajasthan, and Gujarat that no new mining leases can be granted in the Aravalli region until a proper management plan is prepared as directed by the Supreme Court. Existing mines are not stopped, but they can continue only if they strictly follow environmental rules. An expert body has been asked to prepare a sustainable mining management plan. This plan will clearly mark areas where mining may be allowed, ecologically sensitive zones, conservation and restoration priority areas. Mining in sensitive zones will be allowed only in exceptional cases. Importantly, no deadline has been fixed yet for preparing this plan. To remove confusion, the government has adopted a uniform definition of the Aravalli Hills. Any landform 100 meters or more above local ground level is treated as an Aravalli Hill. Any land within 500 meters of such hills is also protected. These areas are generally excluded from mining. The government says this move will actually increase protected areas, not reduce them. The next article for the day, ISRO sends largest commercial communications satellite to orbit. ISRO has successfully launched a major communications satellite called Blue Bird Block 2. The LVM-3 rocket, also known as Bahubali, lifted off from Sriharikota and placed the satellite into low Earth orbit within just 15 minutes. See, this mission is special for three big reasons. First, this is the largest commercial communication satellite ever placed in low Earth orbit. Second, at 6,100 kilograms, Blue Bird Block 2 is the heaviest satellite ever launched by LVM-3 from India. Third, this is ISRO's first dedicated commercial launch for a US customer, showing India's growing role in the global space market. See, the next article is the deliberate unmaking of India's right to work. Since we have seen multiple analysis regarding VBG Ramji Act, I am skipping this article. The next article for the day, new labor codes, the threats to informal workers. The four labor codes enacted in 2019-20 aim to consolidate labor laws relating to wages, industrial relations, social security, and occupational safety. However, their implementation raises serious concerns for informal workers, who constitute over 90% of India's workforce and contribute nearly 65% of GDP. The first one is lack of consultation and democratic deficit. See, the codes were passed without tripartite consultation at the Indian Labour Conference. This weakens consensus based labour law making, especially affecting vulnerable workers. Number two, the myth of universalization of social security. Except the Social Security Code, informal workers are largely excluded from other codes. The rights based protections are replaced with vaguely defined welfare schemes, making benefits discretionary. Number three, dilution of occupational safety for informal workers. The Building and Other Construction Workers Act 1996, which had 180 safety rules for construction workers, is effectively diluted. These safeguards are absent in the Occupational Safety Code rules. Web-based inspections replace physical inspections, so this will weaken the enforcement. This violates International Labour Organization Convention 81. Number 4, neglect of occupational diseases. See, informal workers face a serious health risk like silicosis in construction, cancer from pesticides agriculture, eye, skin, kidney diseases in salt workers. So this occupational safety code does not provide a framework for identification, treatment or rehabilitation. So this violates again the International Labour Organization Convention 161. Number 5, threat to welfare boards and dedicated funds. Sector-specific welfare boards like BD, salt, mining, construction are weakened or threatened. Abolition of cesses under GST removed assured funding sources, and there is no guaranteed alternative funding mechanism introduced. Number 6, centralization and risk to state welfare architecture. Social Security Code creates one centralized welfare board for all unorganized workers. This ignores sectoral diversity and local needs. This centralized e-Shram portal raises fears of center taking over 1 lakh crore welfare funds. So what should be the way forward? We have to protect the existing state level welfare legislation and boards. We have to insert saving clauses for sector specific laws and funds. We have to restore physical inspections and occupational health safeguards, ensuring social security as a legal entitlement, not discretionary welfare. And we have to follow Kerala and Tamil Nadu's cautious approach before notifying rules. Because Tamil Nadu has 39 sector specific welfare boards under the Manual Workers Act 1982, and they provide benefits like pensions, maternity aid, and education assistance. The next article for the day is the data point 4 trends redefining the North Indian Ocean's storm cycle. The first trend is fewer storms overall. Over the last 100 years, the total number of cyclonic disturbances has reduced. Earlier, especially between the 1930s and 1970s, cyclones were more frequent. After the 1980s, their number declined, and even today, activity is lower than mid-20th century levels. Second trend, shift from Bay of Bengal to Arabian Sea. The fall in total cyclones is mainly because Bay of Bengal cyclones have reduced sharply. At the same time, the Arabian Sea is seeing more cyclones than before. This is a major geographical shift in cyclone origin. Third trend, fewer but stronger cyclones. Even though storms are fewer, they are becoming more intense. A larger share of disturbances now turn into severe, very severe, or extremely severe cyclones. Arabian Sea cyclones are more likely to intensify than Bay of Bengal cyclones. One key reason is warming sea surface temperatures, especially in the Arabian Sea. The fourth trend, cyclones arriving later in the year. Earlier, more cyclones formed during July to September. Now, more cyclones are forming in October to December, especially in the Bay of Bengal. This shift increases risk during the post-monsoon season. The next article for the day, why manufacturing has lagged in India. If you compare India with countries like China or South Korea, all of them started at similar levels many decades ago. But today, China and South Korea became strong manufacturing economies while India did not. The big reason is that manufacturing never expanded strongly in India. One explanation comes from economist Aravind Subramanian, who uses the idea of Dutch disease. In simple terms, Dutch disease means when one sector of the economy grows too strongly, it can hurt other sectors like manufacturing. In India's case, the problem was high government salaries. When the government paid higher wages, workers preferred government jobs instead of factory jobs. Manufacturing firms struggled to match those wages. Production cost went up, Indian goods became less competitive compared to imports. So even without currency appreciation, domestic prices rose, imports increased, and manufacturing lost out. But this explanation has limits. In many countries, high wages push industries to innovate and adopt better technology. That did not happen sufficiently in India. Even today, manufacturing jobs remain around 11 to 12% of total employment. Exports are growing, but jobs are not. Industries rely more on machines and capital, not workers. And wages have not risen much, even in fast growing sectors like software. Instead of technology-led productivity growth, India often relied on cheap and abundant labor, leading to low wages, limited innovation, rising inequality. So the real issue is not just government wages, but weak technological upgrading, capital intensive growth, manufacturing failing to absorb labor. The next article for the day, what is the Bureau of Port Security and its role? The Bureau of Port Security is a new statutory body created under the Merchant Shipping Act 2025. The key features are it works under the Ministry of Ports, Shipping and Waterways, headed by a Director General. It provides regulatory oversight, not day-to-day policing. It ensures compliance with international port security standards like the ISPS code. It coordinates all agencies involved in port security. The next question is, what coastal security challenges does India face? India has a long coastline and busy ports, but security is fragmented. The major challenges are multiple agencies, so obviously there is poor coordination. Navy, Coast Guard, CISF, State Police, Customs. So the threats like maritime terrorism, drug and arms smuggling, human trafficking and illegal migration, piracy and cyber attacks on port IT systems, and the rising cargo volumes and digitalization, and there is a lack of a single command authority for ports. Now, how will BOPS address these challenges? Now, they act as a central coordinator and regulator, not a replacement force. How it helps them? It will be a single nodal authority for port security, standardizes security plans across major and non-major ports. The CISF acts as recognized security organization under the BOPS. The security measures implemented in a graded and a risk-based manner, dedicated focus on cybersecurity of port IT systems, and this improves the intelligence sharing between the agencies. So why is this important now? Because India's maritime sector has expanded rapidly. Cargo nearly doubled since 2014. Coastal shipping and inland waterways are growing very fast. Ports becoming critical economic and strategic assets. So, modern ports need modern security governance, and BOPS fills that gap. The next article for the day, dowry is a cross-cultural evil, says Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has clearly said that dowry is a deep-rooted social evil and it is not limited to any one religion or community. The court called dowry a cross-cultural evil that cuts across Hindu, Muslim and other communities. It explained that dowry comes from an old social practice called hypergamy, the idea of marrying daughters into families of equal or higher social status. Over time, this turned women into a source of financial extraction rather than equal partners in marriage. See, the judges pointed out that even though the Dowry Prohibition Act 1961 exists, dowry continues in society by being disguised as gifts or social expectations. The court strongly said that dowry violates the constitution, especially Article 14, because it treats women as unequal and commodifies marriage. The court noted that dowry practices have also entered Muslim marriages, where it has replaced or weakened the concept of meher, which was originally meant to empower women financially. The Supreme Court has directed that governments should change school and college curriculum to teach that both partners in a marriage are equal. Dowry prohibition officers must be appointed immediately and their details made public. Police and judges must be sensitized and trained regularly on dowry cases. High courts must review and fast track pending dowry cases. The next article for the day, Belgium joins South Africa's genocide case against Israel. Earlier, South Africa had gone to the ICJ accusing Israel of committing genocide in Gaza. Now, Belgium has formally stepped in and supported that case by filing what is called a declaration of intervention. This means Belgium is not starting a new case but is backing South Africa's arguments and asking the court to consider its views as well. The ICJ, which is the United Nations top court and is based in The Hague, officially confirmed Belgium's intervention. The next article for the day, did an ancient flood contribute to Keezhadi's abandonment? See, earlier we mostly used carbon dating to find the age of ancient objects. But today, scientists also use a newer method called optically stimulated luminescence dating, especially in archaeology and geology. Let me explain both in very simple terms. Okay, the first is the carbon dating. Carbon dating works on living things. All living plants and animals absorb carbon from the atmosphere. One type of carbon called carbon 14 is radioactive. When a plant or animal dies, it stops taking in carbon. From that moment, carbon 14 starts slowly decaying. Scientists measure how much carbon 14 is left and calculate how long ago the organism died. So, carbon dating is used for bones, wood, charcoal, seeds, shells, etc. The limitation is it works only up to about 50,000 years and only on organic material. It cannot date stones, bricks, or sand. Now, OSL dating, the newer method. This is where optically stimulated luminescence comes in. OSL does not date living things. It dates when soil or sand last saw sunlight. Think of it like this: tiny sand grains lie on the ground. While they are exposed to sunlight, their clock is reset to zero. When a flood, wind, or human activity buries them, sunlight can't reach them anymore. From that moment, the grains start storing energy from natural radiation in the soil. So, in the lab, scientists shine light on these grains. The grains glow. The amount of glow tells scientists how long the grains have been buried. So, this OSL tells us when the sand or soil was last exposed to sunlight. And this OSL is useful when there is no organic material, structures are buried under sand, silt, or clay, and when we want to know when a flood or burial event happened. That's why OSL is used in places like Keezhadi, where brick structures were buried by river floods. Hope I made this as simple as possible. That's all for today. Thank you all for joining.